Now with our perimeter trims installed, we're ready to apply our roofing panels. And you can see we've gone ahead and put a couple on entering Inner Valley here on the roof behind us. Now the panels themselves ideally might be pre-drilled. So you're going to take some time to lay out your course of drilling pattern subsequent to perhaps your strapping. That's typically on a 2-foot center. But let's keep in mind when we're pre-drilling our sheets, if we're using any of the offcuts to rotate around and use in a different spot on the roof, maybe we don't want to pre-drill those sheets until those ones are ready. Likewise, where the sheet might overhang at a gable edge, that final edge does not need to be pre-drilled. We don't want any holes in that, obviously, if it's overhanging. And in our case here, it's going to be tucking into a flying gable channel. So again, that doesn't need to be pre-drilled there. So we can go ahead and apply our steel. You're going to go ahead and put your screws in. Putting a screw in the steel is pretty simple, except let's again keep in mind there's a rubber gasket that is doing all the weather protection for you. So we want to make sure that's used properly and well protected. The screw itself will have a steel shroud above the gasket to protect it from weather. But as you drive your screw in, make sure that it's at a nice straight line to make full contact with the steel. And what we're looking to do is just compress that gasket slightly. Over tightening might feel good and make you feel good and secure that you've got a good tight fasten. But you probably have distorted that gasket, and it's now going to be a source of leaking where it was supposed to be what was keeping the water out. So do not over tighten these, just compress slightly. So as we said, we've got our sheets, our opposing valley sheets applied already, and you might have again a little more forethought into the layout of your sheet application in regards to lapping, in regards to predominant weather direction. More importantly, you may have also considered what sort of protrusions you have in your roof. For instance, this pipe vent or plumbing vent coming through our roof. We'll deal with how we flash around that. But at this stage, as we're applying the sheets, we now get to decide where we want our sheet to land in reference to this penetration. We've chosen to have it occur right at a rib because we, again, laid out and had the foresight to measure out and understand where our valley wants to be cut so that we get to have this occur in this setup and we can treat it easily. Plumbing stacks are one thing. You may have other protrusions like chimneys or skylights. Let's take a look at a skylight now. So as we discussed, the placement of your sheets in relation to protrusions in the roof or obstacles on your roof, like a skylight, for instance, in this case, this box simulating a skylight for our purpose here. Because we know where that's lying, we had the opportunity to cut our valley and work across the roof and around our skylight, where the ribs are falling on either side of the skylight. It's fitting perfectly between these two ribs. It really doesn't matter what size that skylight is. The function or the purpose is the same. You get to have some control over where these ribs start and stop so that you can better flash around it. Now, let's look at flashing skylights in particular, skylights and chimneys and plumbing stacks in particular. We'll touch on all of them as they're a very common question that lots of consumers and customers have as they're a common leak source. So we'll get to the flashing, but a little detail I'll point out first here is you can see the sheet is applied around that skylight, and we reliefed cut out this entire portion of steel and have now laid our sheet into and around the skylight and left an uncovered area above. That's because we want to give ourselves the opportunity to have our flashing above the skylight, under the steel, at the same time as the flashings on the side and front of the skylight to be on top of the steel. This is one way to achieve that. So let's grab those trims and we'll take a quick look at how to flash the skylight.